Hey guys. Welcome back to the channel. Jen and I have been gone for a few weeks. And we come back to a sloppy mess. So I went and dropped Jen off at the cabin. The cabin was sitting all alone for a few weeks. And it's 62 degrees. So stuff's melting off fast, but not in the woods. So let's fill up this trailer and get back up to the cabin. I'll show you how everything fared. Kind of explain to you what we did to prepare. Everything worked out perfectly. Even though it wasn't the plan, it still worked out perfectly. Scout was happy to see me. We just let them fend for themselves out here in the woods for a few weeks while Jen and I went on vacation. We just threw out a couple bags of dog food into the woods. You guys know I'm joking. So, alright. I got a couple truckloads of stuff I gotta get up here. Look at this. It's our old friend, Miss Jen.
Old friend?
It's your old friend, Jen. And my beautiful wife. So, look at that. Hoodies and t-shirts. Pretty crazy for the middle of March. Pretty crazy for March to have that much snow. But it's melting around here, so let's get this sled unloaded. Back to work, right?
Uh-huh.
Whoopah.
Uh-huh.
There we go. Cabin. The greenhouse, the sugar shack, everything's still upright. Everything survived without our full attention for a few weeks, right? right, guys, I'm gonna go get a couple more loads. You can stay here with Jen. We'll give you a little rundown how we winterized this place and how everything fared while we were gone. We'll see how everything fared without our supervision. Jenny's got food for the birdies. Did you ever show them your feeder that you put up for the birdies?
No.
You got a little feeder over here. There's a lot of messes here. It's kind of par for the course this time of year.
Springtime thaw.
Yeah.
What a mess.
But Jen got herself a feeder over here behind the flagpole for feeding the birds while we were gone for a few weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And it's making a mess. It's corn everywhere. Holy cannoli.
Turkeys will come clean it up.
You should probably turn it off.
Yeah.
Because it's just making a mess at this point.
Yeah. I'll turn it off here.
So there's just corn all over the yard, and then a lot of corn. Why is there's like mildew all over the grass? And there's just corn everywhere underneath it. So the turkeys are going to have a heyday when they come. So we're going to turn this off. But I got to change my flag too. My flag got destroyed the last month. So let's go get a new flag. Guys, we left the solar on for a few weeks, and neighbor John came and checked it out and kept an eye on it. But mainly he was just clearing the panels once in a while so it would charge back up. I'll show you what we did real quick before I do the flag. Actually, let's do the flag first. This is my least favorite time of year where there's still ice because everything is just destroyed. It's my favorite time of year when I can do syrup, and I need to be doing syrup right now. I'm going to do syrup after I hang out with you for a few minutes. I need to grab a flag. It's my favorite time of year because winter's almost over. And I get to do my maple syrup, but it's just everything's a mess. There's just nothing's growing, so nothing gets like mulched up. And there's just all this ice on the ground. Alright guys, we'll give this guy a good send off with just like the rest of them. Nice beautiful day. Let's get some stuff cleaned up and go get some maple syrup stuff out of the shed.
Okay.
You got anything to do?
I can keep putting stuff away inside.
Okay. Everything looks good, guys. Cabin looks good. No roofing issues. Solar panels look good. The greenhouse looks good. Sugar shack looks good. Pretty awesome. You can see our fire pit again. It's amazing the difference a few weeks makes. Alright guys, we got bad news too. Look at this. This is a mess. So, I don't know what to blame this on. I don't know what to blame this coming apart and deteriorating. I don't know whether to blame it on the concrete itself or the dry pour. But this is the only spot that it's really doing this is out in the open. Lots of traffic. Look at it. Like really bad. Still solid underneath, but the whole top layer just like totally disintegrated. Right here in front of the cabin, of course. It's like starting to happen over here. Look. So this is different concrete, but it's exposed to the weather. But look, this is concrete, the Quickcrete, and it's perfect still. It's not in the weather. And the concrete in the barn is perfectly fine, and that is the cheap stuff from Menards. So I don't know whether to blame this on the green store, Menards, cheap concrete, or blame it on it being out in the elements. But I gotta clean this up. Look at that fresh new drill bit. 5/16. 99% sure. I feel like it might be 7/16, but I think the old ones were 7/16. The new taps take 5/16. I feel like I'm missing one tool. Taps, buckets, lids. So here's all you pretty much need to do syrup, guys. You guys are new here. You need 5-gallon buckets. That's the easiest way, because you don't have to empty the bags so often. You need a drill, 5/16 drill bit, hammer, some lids. We'll show you how to tap a tree here. This is my tree right here, closest to the cabin. We'll tap that, but I gotta throw some brats on real quick. We don't want Jetty to get hangry.
Well, I'm sure to get hangry.
I need to get hangry.
Yeah. Vacation time boy.
Everybody gains weight on vacation. Problem is, I gain weight when I'm not on vacation too. You throw me the brats and I'll throw them on real quick.
You can go back outside with your dad, little dog.
Cheddar butters. Thawed out, right?
Maybe. You'll find out.
They're thawed out. Yow! Those are off-grid brats. Right? Honey? Those are off-grid brats. You know why they're off-grid brats?
Yeah.
Because we're eating them off-grid.
Yeah.
So they're off-grid brats.
Okay.
There's no following along. That's the whole story.
Okay.
Guys, I'm going to tap this tree while I make dinner, while I grill the brats. Just show you how easy it is. And once you do this, you can do it many, many, many more times. As many as you want. As many trees as you have, as much sap as you can boil and handle. I tap about 30 trees. It used to be 15 trees. I think I tap 30 trees now and have about 60 taps. That's these guys right here. That's these guys right here. I clean these in the summer or in the spring after. These have a 2-foot food grade, and then here's your tap. I've been using some of these for many years. Let's tap one tree. I'll show you the whole process. Alright guys, so here's 2 taps. Try to keep this stuff out of the dirt. Food grade bucket. It has a number 2 on the bottom and a triangle that says H, high density polyethylene, HDPE, high density. Same thing with the, it'd be hard to show you, same thing there on the, I don't know if you can see it right there on the top. Let's see if I can get the light to hit it right there. Number 2, that means it's high density, so stuff won't leach into your sap. So I drill 2 holes that are slightly bigger than the hose, like 5/16 I think is the tap. I tap them just a little bit bigger, so whatever, 7/16, so it goes in there into the hole kind of firmly. Some of them go very firmly. You get to push them in. That's better because then you don't get water in there. This tree I have tapped many a times. Here's our 5-gallon bucket. Lid. Holes. Like I said, this hole's a little big. It just like slides around in there, but it is what it is. You could also drill a little hole. You can also drill a little hole right here if you want. That way you don't ruin your lids, and they say less water will get in there. I don't like doing that because I like the buckets to be intact. So here's a hole from previous years. That'll heal up after a couple years. There's multiple holes on here. There's a hole here that's healed up. Here's a hole that does not look real healthy. So let's hope that heals up. This tree is about, 15 inches in diameter. So I put 2 taps in it. If it's a 12-incher, you can put 1 tap. Just depends. That's a pretty good sized tree. So guys, try to see where your hose will reach. These are 2-footers, so we'll use a little bit shorter ones. I'm going to tap around here on the back, down a little lower. Go at a little bit of an incline, so the instead of flat, a little bit of an incline. And then you'll start seeing sap. There's already sap pouring out of here. Look. So we're gonna stick our tap in here. Grab our hammer. Give a little tap. Hear the difference? Dump, tap, tap, or dump, dump. That should be in good enough. There's already sap coming out of it. So there we go. always tap on the south side of the trees. If you're in the northern hemisphere, you get the sun, sunny side. And let's tap it one more time, and then this tree will be done. And you just do that as many times as you want with different trees. We have a ton of trees on this property. I only do the ones close to the road. We have a lot of road that goes around our property, but I could tap hundreds of trees, but I only tap 20 to 30. You don't want to tap underneath a dead spot. You don't want to tap in an old hole or too close to an old hole. Like here's an old hole from like 3 years ago, probably, because it's really healed up and covered up completely. There's one here, and there's one here, and then there's one here too. It looks like. So this is a good spot because it gets the evening sun, as you can see. I mean, the sun's pretty low right now, but that second half of the day, this whole side of the tree gets sun. There's a lot of taps. There might be an old tap there too. I think this is the 4th year I've tapped here. Listen for it, tap, tap, and then thump, thump. Thump, thump, thump. There we go. Here we come. Here it comes. There we go. Drip, 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 drip. So that's how you tap a tree, pretty easy. You want to go about 1.5 inches into the tree. I put a little piece of tape on the drill bit normally, but this drill bit's about 2.5 inches, so I'm just going to leave 1 inch of thread left. So anyway, we need some dinner, and I'm going to tap some more trees tonight, however much I want. It's going to get cold again later in the week, and then for a week. But if I tap these now, today and tomorrow, I should get some buckets tomorrow. And then I can do a batch while it's cold. So anyway, let's I'm gonna go eat, and then we'll catch up with you in a little bit. Alright guys, so I guess when we did this, I told Jen I wanted exposed aggregate. I kind of got it.
Yeah, she's going to keep being more exposed.
Yeah, we'll see.
You have to do something.
The whole top layer is like peeling off of the aggregate.
It's got to be because we put salt on it, because like we don't put salt.
Yeah, that's true. I forgot. I told him I didn't know if it was because of the cheap concrete or because it's
no, because look.
It's because of salt.
Yeah, we don't put salt over here.
Yeah, that's what did it.
And the
salt got the water underneath it, and then it cracked.
So.
And it's high traffic area, and it was. I told him I thought maybe it was because of the cheap concrete, but there's cheap concrete in the barn.
Yeah.
But this is the only stuff that's outside exposed too, so who knows?
Because of the salt.
It's still hard underneath, right?
Maybe can you put like you see exposed aggregate? Sometimes it's got like a clear.
Yeah, you can.
Epoxy coat or something on it. Can you do something like that?
Try. I'm gonna try to fix it. Let's just let it peel for a month, and then we'll go.
It's the
So
salt that does it, though. Look at the salt goes up to here. Oh, this
Yeah.
is fine.
yeah. So
The step is
word
fine.
to the wise.
Don't put salt on your dry.
Don't put salt in dry pour. I'm glad we wouldn't do anything like this on a driveway. Worked good for everything else we've done. It's held up pretty good. So anyway, let's tap a few trees, guys. I showed you guys how to tap a tree. Let's go tap, a few more. You coming with me? You carrying stuff? You want to take the camera?
Till I get cold.
Well, if you move around, you won't get cold.
Hi. It's a burger.
You carry lids?
Whatever you.
Carry this one bucket with the... Don't buy Lowe's. Don't buy Lowe's blue bucket lids either. They suck. They crack.
I should have bought you a Bucky's bucket.
I don't care right now. I want to do this and get it done. You got the drill and the hammer?
Mm-hmm.
These are my trees that produce the best because they're out in the sunshine. Go do these trees.
Where stuff will take care of it.
Did you grab the hammer? No?
No, forgot. Sorry.
These are not dripping rapidly, but there's also no sun out,
Yeah. It's getting cooler.
Yeah, let's tap this one down here. This is probably last year's hole. This is a couple years ago because it's like completely closed up.
How long does it take for a hole to close up?
I think it takes like 2 years because you can tell there's a hole right here.
Yeah.
Like it used to be because there's around the bark that's completely plugged. There's a hole there, completely healed up. Starting to drip.
Oh, look at that. Where are you putting this one at? This side?
Right on this side somewhere.
Ooh, listen to that drip.
Already dripping pretty hard. That one's gushing. Can't see it, but it's gushing.
That's good.
Just gotta make sure that this bucket stays flat. Doesn't tip over. Alright. Other ones. Tap these ones. I'm not going down there tonight unless we
Look at these crazy dogs. Huh? Holy cow, why is that doing that?
right here expanded and now it's healing itself. This tree never did really that great. I don't remember which tree did great or not. At least this is a different kind of maple. So this is a different kind of maple, so I've tapped this one a few times and it doesn't, I don't remember, to be honest. The one down there doesn't do that great. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. You know, just like hit or miss. Obviously it's doing something because it's leaking. It would obviously drip. But I need 3 long spouts to do that one.
Scout's on his mountain top.
Mountain goat. This one's dripping really good too.
Well, that's good. See? Worth tapping.
Timber, come on, dude. Getting everything dirty, buddy.
Okay.
All right, guys, we'll do a walk around tomorrow or in a week when we have some sap. We'll see how it goes. And Jen will just help me tap these for a little bit.
I'm not going to film him doing the same thing
30 times.
30 times.
Plus, I got to do a bunch tomorrow anyway. I'm not going
Y'all
down by
get
camp.
real bored.
Yeah. All right. Hey, guys, welcome back to the cabin. Jen and I got back to the cabin yesterday. Kind of fiddle-farted a little bit, and I fiddle-farted a little bit more this morning. Went for a walk. I wanted to show you how we set up the solar. You know, we tapped some trees also, but I want to show you how we set up the solar while we were gone so it could kind of run without us here. Mm-hmm. And it was kind of worked out accidentally. You guys saw our video in previous video, we bought a new generator. It gave us nothing but fits, and I had to take it back and exchange it. So I have a brand new one in box. We were going to use that to have neighbor John charge the system if it needed to while we were gone. Well, that wasn't happening. It didn't happen. We didn't have a generator here, so we did it differently. I kind of wanted to show it to you because it kind of worked out really good. So maybe someone who's going to set up a system could consider this in the future.
Yep, and it just ran the Starlink basically while we were gone, so that way we could still monitor everything. Yeah,
all our cameras would still work. We do have a few cameras that are on a cell phone network, so we can, that are farther from the cabin. They watch the roads and stuff. But everything up here, Jen's bird cameras, our security cameras, a lot of them are on Wi-Fi now, so we wanted to leave the Wi-Fi going. And we put a camera facing, you might have seen it in another video where we did the roof. We had a camera facing the solar panel so we could kind of see if they were clear. And we could tell neighbor John or ask neighbor John if he'd come up and clear them off for us. And he did. So that was awesome. Whew. All right, guys. Let's finally go look at the solar. I'll show you how I have it set up for when we're away, which is not very often, but might help somebody. Got my new Predator 5002. Took that other one back because it would not run well. Hopefully this one does. We'll set that up too, maybe in this video. We'll see. So here we go. All right. Been a little while since we've all been in the bunker together. All right, let's turn this on. All right, I turned our mini cabin system back on too. And it's charged up a little bit. Shortly after I turned it on, the sun went away, so we went from 45% to 49%. But we're getting 5 amps right now, which is pretty good for being a lame-o day. The sun's trying to peek out. Let me show you guys how I have this set up. And like I said, this kind of accidentally happened. Let me see how many watts are really coming into this. 416. So it's enough to run the cabin and charge the batteries just a little. Oh yeah, we're at 250 watts on the tracker right now. So that's pretty impressive. Because 250 watts out of 1200 as opposed to 420 watts out of 5000. So that's actually pretty... Yeah. Alright, so here's what I did. Again, I said earlier I was going to ask neighbor John to come run the generator, a tank of gas once in a while to charge this up. But the generator failed us. My fail-safe, my brand new generator, wasn't working good. So instead of have him struggle with it or, have to deal with that headache, I just shut all the batteries down that weren't heated. So I shut down all the Vaderers here, the 5 Vaderers. I shut down the 2 Eco-Worthies, and I shut down the big battery. That's all been off for close to a month now. And we've just been running on the 3 Ruxus and this 1 Sun Gold. What those are heated batteries. So even when the bunker got a little cold, because I couldn't come turn on the diesel heater, and it was cold while we were gone. And the bunker got down to like 25 degrees, but I wasn't here to deal with it. And I didn't want John to have to do a bunch of headache. I just wanted to have the system going. And what he did was basically clear the panels, check the batteries. Now, we did have a little issue with these Ruxus. Sometimes when they get cold and then they heat back up, they don't reset, so you have to manually turn them on and off to reset the BMS, I guess. But yeah, that's pretty much how we ran for a few weeks while we were gone. So this might be something you want to consider, either getting all heated batteries so you can put them in, say, your cabin, and your cabin isn't heated and the cabin gets down to 25 degrees. I mean, we've come back to our cabin after a weekend away and the cabin's been as low as 11 degrees. So people always ask why we built this bunker, why we don't just put everything in the cabin where it's warm. Well, it's still not always warm in the cabin. You go away for a weekend and you don't have a furnace. We don't have a thermostat on the wall we can just turn on. Yes, we have the mini split, but we just winterize everything. We just shut everything down and walk away. And we don't have to worry so much. And even if we had this stuff in the cabin, it would still get cold for, a few weekends here and there when we leave the cabin. So this might be something you want to consider. Either go with all heated or maybe just a few heated. Just enough to run the cabin while you're gone. If you're going to get 4 batteries or 6 server rack batteries, maybe get 2 or 3 heated and a few that aren't, because I know the heated ones are a little more expensive. Maybe the heated ones will carry your cabin while you're away. Just enough watt hours stored up to run the cabin while you're away. Because while we were gone, we shut everything down but the Wi-Fi. The cabin and the inverter running drew about 100 to 150 watts full time. That's with the Wi-Fi, losses, just little, parasitic draw stuff in the cabin. I tried to shut down a few of the breakers so we didn't have a bunch of random little things sucking juice. But we were using about 80 to 100 watts of energy all the time, plus the inverter. So these 4 batteries, that's 20,000 watt hours, would last for 4 or 5 days at least. If the cabin's sitting idle and just basically not being used, we're not using lights, we're not using any pumps of any sort, we're not charging phones, computers, all the extra cameras, and the refrigerator. We turn the refrigerator off. So we were just basically drawing 80 to 100 watts the whole time we were gone, with the Wi-Fi router and just a few little miscellaneous things in the cabin, I guess. So maybe have enough heated batteries to run your cabin while you're gone, and then have a few non-heated, because I know the heated ones are expensive, a little more expensive than the non-heated. I think these Vaders were $7.99. The EcoWorthies are $7.99 or $8.99. The Ruxus, when we bought these, because we had to buy these back before we were working with all these other companies, I think they gave us 1 battery. We bought 2, got 1 free. So they gave us a little bit of a deal on them, but we still had to buy them. So we still had a couple $1,000s into those 2 batteries. But yeah, that's just how I ran it. So consider that when you're setting up a system. Maybe if your system's not going to be heated full time or in a heated space, like your cabin isn't going to be heated full time, it's kind of a waste of propane if you set your cabin up with a wall heater to heat everything while you're gone the whole time. I mean, if you're just gone for 1 or 2 days, but if you're gone for a week or 2, that's a lot of propane. You can't guarantee that that's safe or going to maintain well. It's one more thing to worry about. And it's a lot of propane to run to keep your cabin at 50 degrees while you're gone. So yeah, I have not turned any of this stuff back on, but it's actually March now. Temperatures are moving in the right direction, although the 10-day forecast shows a significant cool down. We're going to be back in the teens and actually 3 degrees one night, it says. And single digits a couple nights still. So that's why I haven't done my maple syrup. I tapped a few trees, but I'm not going to tap them all till after that cold spell moves through, because nothing's really doing much yet. But yeah, let's turn the rest of the system on, because we're going to get a rainy day tomorrow and then a sunny day. I wanted to turn all these back on during a sunny day so we get a lot of juice put into them. So I might just wait, because all these batteries are full right now. This battery is completely full. This SunGold battery is completely full. 4 bars or 4 lights. These are all blinking on the last light. Anyway, guys, I've been rambling in this bunker for 10 minutes or 20 minutes, so I apologize. Screw it, let's turn these back on. 95%. 95%, 53.34 volts, 3 degrees Celsius. So these still need to warm up. But 53.4 on here. It shows these at 53.34. So these are close to being balanced still. There we go. This one's charging now. So these are sucking just a little bit of juice. Let's turn them all back on. Screw it. We're charging. We might as well. Alright guys, the sun's kind of out. We're getting 500 watts. We might as well turn these all back on. Let them equalize. These were all pretty much full when I shut them down. You're not supposed to really leave them full, but they were full. And they're all at 44 degrees on, and they're all in standby mode. This one on the bottom is 97%, 53.38, 53.36, 53.36, 53.36, 53.39. So guys, when you're a tenth of a volt off, I can't imagine that's that bad. Now if you have all the cells in an individual battery are supposed to be within like a third of a volt, I think, or a third, like 3/100ths of a volt. You know, you can watch them balance, but these are all going to balance back out. So let's turn them on. Might as well leave them on, let them balance out, getting a little bit of juice. So guys, consider getting a couple of heated batteries, or you know, maybe just splurge and get all heated batteries, because then when you go away for a day or two or a week, if you're not at your cabin, if you're a weekend warrior, you could still let your cabin get cold. You don't have to like heat your cabin to keep your system warm. People have said that for years. Why don't you put it in your cabin where it's warm? Well, you know, we're only here 80% of the time, 90% of the time now. And most people that set up systems like this will be here on long weekends once or twice a month. They're not going to be here every day. So your cabin's not going to maintain heat. It's not like in the city where you have, you know, a furnace, you push the arrow up and it stays warm automatically and you just pay the bill. So that's why it's down in this bunker now. That's why it was always in the solar shed. One, for safety, because I'm, you know, a rookie. Getting a little better now, but, you know, just for safety. I want to burn the cabin down. So, all right. So everything's up and running. So consider set your system up like that. Consider setting up some heated batteries like that. Again, the reason I wanted to turn all the other batteries off is because worst case scenario for a lithium iron phosphate battery is to run down to 0 and then freeze. It's one thing if they just run to 0 and you recharge them, but we were going to be gone for a few weeks. This system will run for 10 to 14 days, pretty much. It should run even longer with us not here. But you know, it's a new system still. We just set it up this fall. We're still learning. The worst case scenario is to have $10,000 worth of batteries go to 0 and drain themselves and have no sun because my panels are covered with snow, and then have them freeze and then cause damage to them. That's why the heated batteries, we just ran off of those. I didn't want to risk hurting all my other batteries. So it looks like it worked good. Thanks to neighbor John, for coming to check up on stuff. He did reset stuff a few times and clear the panels a few times. So that was a huge help. Without him, I don't know what the system would have done for sure. The panels probably would have been covered, and we wouldn't have got any sun at all. So we would have just went dead, and then I would have to worry about those heated batteries being bad, or getting ruined. So anyway, let's get this other generator out. Let's get this new generator out. See if we can get that running.